to the right on cue. 11 drivers, yay! Alcatraz. Who are we missing? Who are we missing? He's here. Who's Magic? He's here. Crofted's here. Unigrino. Alcatraz. Yeah, I saw his name Oldfield. No. Papa G, yeah, he's here. Schmidt. 12 drivers. Semi-Pros just joined us. So out of everyone who's turned up so far, the top 3 drivers in the Drivers' Championship aren't here. 3 minutes ago. Drivers. Oh, there we go. Now where is our championship leader? Ah, there he is. So we should be getting started quite shortly, at about a minute or so till the official race start. Hello, Renault. Alrighty, so 16 drivers it seems. However, there's question marks over safety car. Over whether or not he's racing. as we should be getting underway very, very shortly. Come on, come on. Let's get it started here at Singapore. We return here after our very first stream of the Dynamic Racing series in the Green League. It was an absolute... it went through its teething, that first stream. Thank goodness it's improved a lot since then. Come on, fellas. Should be getting underway. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay. Here we go. 4 drivers. Come on, we need to cover more than that. Just check what's happening in the Discord, see why we're taking so long. Is that enough? Come on. Taking everyone so long. Should have started about 2 minutes ago. Here we go. Now the drivers are awake. So, here we are at Singapore, the Marina Bay Street Circuit. 5.1 kilometer, 23 turned street circuit. It's the first ever night race in Formula One history, introduced in 2008. It's a fairly typical street circuit, narrow, bumpy, difficult to overtake, but it is the longest race in terms of time in the championship. More time means more potential for action, and hopefully we'll see plenty of it at Singapore as we begin one shot qualifying, one lap, one chance to dictate your position for the feature race here at Singapore. And we are going to have to pick on someone, show us a lap of this place. As it's not quite like night time, it's more of a dusk, really. Who are we going to pick on? We'll pick on our championship leader, which is now Todster 99. The Drivers' Championship seems to be going down to the final round, which will be at Interlagos in Brazil. It's between Todster 99 and Dougie Falcons with a points difference of only 17 points. It's quite close between these two. Let's see. Alright, Todster. Come back here. Oh, Schmidt! Oh my god, safety car! Oh, he's gonna blame me for that, isn't he? Alright, we'll pick on Schmidt. Coming into the second DRS zone. Oh, he's so gonna blame me for that. Coming into the end of Sector 1, into Turn 7. Now into turn 8, series of 90 degree corners. Turn 9 not so much. Bit more of a sweeper rather than an actual 90. Coming down to the Singapore sling. It used to be a very notorious chicane. Into turns 11 and 12. Now coming over the Anderson Bridge into turn 13. We might be able to see some overtaking here. It's definitely one of the hot spots on the circuit. And the straightaway into turn 14. Very tricky corner as Rizzy Rick, he's retired from the session. Not looking good for him. 16th use. Now coming into the third sector. Into turns 18 and 19 where you go underneath the grandstand. Turns 20 and 21. And 22 and 23. Relatively flat out in a Formula 1 car. Not so much in a Formula 2 car. As it seems, Schmidt will get... Oh, no, he won't. Only just! Have a look at that. Oh, setting almost identical lap times. Hooter Magic actually gets pole position by 2/100ths of a second. Wow. Very close between those two. Toddster, our championship leader, starts in P3, Corrupted P4, Pure Gold P5. Dougie, that's not where he wants to be, he starts P6. Breno P7, Semi-Pro P8, False Equation P9, Kindhouse P10 after having another shocking race when he returned in Brazil in the Green League. Unigrino P11, Papa G P12, Alcatraz P13, Very Leslie Tau P14, Safety Car and Rizzy Rick, both setting no times and will start 15th and 16th respectively as we now go on to the feature race. Still not quite night time. I thought they would have still held it relatively in the night time, but no, it's at dusk. Very different view of Singapore when it's not under lights. Well, not completely under lights. Drivers fine-tuning their setups. As we... come on. Can't fine-tune it that much. Suppose drivers just wanting to run the clock down. Alrighty. So, formation lap. With Hooter Magic on pole, Schmidt in P2. Toddster almost puts it into the wall, I think. I just caught that out of the corner of my eye. I think he almost put it in the wall. He's going to be one of the drivers we have to keep an eye on. Championship leader only by 17 points. And the other man we really got to have a look out for. Dougie Falcons. DRS's Martin Brundle. He did have the lead coming into Spain, our previous round. But for whatever reason, he didn't attend the feature race. So he lost a massive amount of points. And then in the sprint race, he only scored 1 point. And Toddster managed to collect 30 from the weekend. So, we have to keep an eye on those two. This should be a relatively interesting race at Singapore. It's got a lot of street circuit characteristics like Monte Carlo, but it's not impossible around here. There's definitely opportunities. You've got turn 1 and turn 7, which are after DRS zones. You've also got turns 13 and 14. They're a bit more risky. This is turn 14. It's probably one of the hardest corners on the circuit because it looks pretty quick. And it's got this big wide exit, but you have to actually take it quite carefully. also to make sure not to get a track extension. Speaking of which, warnings are going to be a massive factor in this race. It is incredibly easy to corner cut around here, but you have to take advantage of every millimetre of tarmac that you can get on the circuit. If you don't, you are going to lose bucket loads of time to the drivers who do. The drivers are coming around now, ghosting through each other. Got a couple of drivers who crashed during the warm-up. I'll see if I... Okay, so it's Unit and Papa G who crashed into each other. Ooh, this is a nice shot. This is a very nice shot. Just quickly. Interval. Tyre. Everyone on the softs. No real surprise there. Come on, I have to find a better view of the grid than this. There we go. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And away we go here in Singapore. And it seems that Schmidt has got an absolutely horrendous start. He loses 2, oh no, just the 1 position. Any more? Oh, who's that into the wall? See who it is. It's Corrupted. Oh no, into the wall at turn 1. We do have yellow. Oh my goodness me, that's Semi-Pro. And who's that next to him? It seems to be Unit Grino. Into the wall at turn 4. Absolutely massive crash between those two. Both of them getting front wing damage. Look at them scattered all over the circuit, coming into turn 7. 3 wide. And they all get through relatively well, but they all won wide. Oh, never mind. Aussie Rizzy Rick into the wall, pushed into the wall by one of the Campos cars. I believe they're Campos. Don't know my Formula 2 teams very well. We'll just have a quick look at positions changes. Crafted, shocking start for him. 12 places lost in that opening lap after being spun round either by himself or with assistance at turn 1. Very Lazy Tail, the biggest winner out of that, up 6 places from 14th to 8th. Absolutely brilliant start from him. What has been a fairly shocking weekend. Very Lazy Tail. After having that, well, ginormous doesn't even cover it accident in Brazil. So we'll just go back to the leaders. Hooter Magic has got an absolute blinding start. He's 1.5 seconds in front of Todster. Schmidt is in P3 with Pure Gold P4, Breno P5. Dougie Falcons hasn't moved up or down the field. He's still in P6. Conehouse P7, Very Lazy Tail P8. Semi-Pro P9, False Equation P10, Safety Car P11, made up 4 places from the start. He also had a good start. Alcatraz into P12, Grino, Corrupted, Papa's at G, and Aussie Rizzy Rick, all having some sort of incident. Ooh, he will have to come in, and he will. Oh, and oh, oh, to rub salt into the wound. Got a few drivers in. Got Papa G in. Oh, I thought I may have saw another, but no, I was just seeing them. We go back up to the battle for 3rd place. Schmidt versus Todster. Go back to the tires. We've got Pure Gold. He's hanging on to these 2. Wow, what a start. Absolutely chaotic start. You expect that on a street circuit. Rizzy Rick opting to go for the super softs. I suppose in his position, why not? I don't think he's moving anywhere except maybe overtake Papa G, who too had to pit for a new front wing. So it seems we've got a small battle for 2nd place. Actually, it goes all the way down to P6, so all in this sort of train. Oh, and that's Breno in the wall. Doesn't appear to be any damage though. He's gotten away with it. Just have a quick look further back in the field. As Rizzy Rick hits a 10-second time penalty for corner cutting. It is very easy to do. Yeah, the poor guy. He's had enough. So Semi-Pro does have damage. He's in P9 at the moment. So he's going to be very much under attack from False Equation. And we do... Never mind. I saw the green flag. I was wondering if there was yellows anywhere on the circuit. Toddster sets the fastest lap of the race as DRS is enabled. We'll see this train close up to each other. Toddster is leading it at the moment. He's almost got a second margin to Schmidt, but not quite. He's still within DRS range. So right on board with Pure Gold. We'll be able to see all three of them here. Down the back straightaway, into turn 6, completely flat out. Then into the heavy braking zone of turn 7. We'll see plenty of overtaking here. It's one of the few overtaking points on the circuit. But it seems that Pure Gold, he might not be too happy with his car at the moment. He's slipping out back just a little bit. We seem to have a positions change between False Equation and Semi-Pro. Go back up. So Dougie Falcons, he really needs to get a move on as he locks up into turn 13. In turn 14, you see the train, they're all within DRS range of each other, but they're not quite threatening each other either. They're sorting their race out, finding the rhythm. As he runs wide into turn 19, he may have copped a penalty for that. As he locks up again, he's definitely not happy with his car. But he is gaining time, it seems, to Breno. Breno losing time, he's out of DRS range, so is Pure Gold. He's now 1.2 seconds away from Schmidt. Coming through turns 22 and 23, onto the first DRS straight, the pit straight, into turn 1. Runs a little bit wide. Turns 2, 3. Into turn 4. As Unit Greno gets a place because Semi-Pro decides to pit. Remember, he does have a broken front wing, so he'll have that replaced. Into turn 5, down the back straightaway. Into turn 6. As Konas gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cupping. Into turn 7. To see how much time the DRS and the slipstream gives the driver. Oh, massive lock up into turn 8, into turn 9, down another long straight into the Singapore Sling. Breno tries to break a bit of the slipstream. This used to be a very, very, let's say, jumpy chicane. It's definitely what Kimi Raikkonen would tell you. Turn 13, another potential overtaking spot if you can get the run. Same with turn 14. If you get a good run out of turn 13, you're a very good chance of getting the car in front into turn 14. As a number of drivers are starting to get penalties now. This is only lap 4, by the way. Expect a cascade of penalties for these drivers. Into the bus stop. Going underneath the grandstand. Then underneath the overpass. To complete the bus stop. Then into the double left-hand of turns 22 and 23 as Super Magic proceeds to set another fastest lap of the race. Dougie Falcons, he has DRS, he's got the outside line. He can't quite get it done though. Breno putting the car where it needs to be. But it just seems that Dougie, he's found his rhythm. And Breno, he's struggling a lot. He's now 3 seconds behind Pure Gold. Definitely holding Dougie Falcons up. As Pure Gold, he's now right behind Schmidt. What will he do? He'll look to the outside. He won't get the job done. He might get this crisscross. He does. He'll get the outside into turn 8. And he gets it done. A very, very good move by Pure Gold. Very good racecraft from him. He was patient, he used the over-under, and he got the job done. A very good move from Pure Gold. It has cost him a bit of time for Todster, however, but if he's got car pace, we might see him catch up to him and get back into DRS range. Dougie Falcons also has gone past Breno somewhere on the track, probably through turn 7, turn 8 perhaps. Unfortunately, I didn't see it. We'll have a look a bit further back. False equation. He's within DRS range of Very Lazy Tail, who is 10 whole seconds behind the leading 6 cars. Just shows how hard these guys are pushing. We'll have a look a bit further back. Safety car, Unit Grino, and Corrupted after having a very shocking race start. Currently in P10. We'll have a look back to the leaders. So Pure Gold, he's now closed within DRS range, almost. We'll just have a quick ride on board. Still within, so he will get it, and he does get it. So Schmidt won't quite be able to launch a counter-attack here. And he won't make a massive dive bomb out of this either. It's too early in the race to do that. You also have to keep monitoring the gap between Schmidt and Dougie Falcons. Dougie seriously needs to get himself into this leading battle if he wants to start clawing back points away from Todster. A safety car comes into pit for a set of super softs. I haven't said that in a long time. A set of super softs. He has closed the gap. It's now 2.8 seconds, but Schmidt has lost a lot of time. He's now out of the DRS range. And Pure, he's making massive amounts of ground as he proceeds to get the 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. But perhaps Pure Gold's tyres weren't quite up to temperature. He was struggling to grip, and now he's found it. He's gaining a lot of time on Todster. Hooter Magic has maintained that 1.5 to 2 second margin. He's doing well. And Schmidt, he's keeping himself in this. He's just within DRS range. This will be a very interesting battle, especially when the strategies come into play. As Todster locks up just a little bit, excuse me, at turn 5. Right on board Pure Gold. Corrupted a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Unit Grino comes into pit. So, Schmidt, he's now lost a little bit of time, about 0.2 of a second, now about 2.5 tenths to these two, and he's falling back into the clutches of Dougie. It's now 2.5 seconds, it was around about 3, about a lap and a half ago. Breno, he's fallen away from this as well, he's now 2 seconds behind Dougie. These guys are pulling away from the rest of the field. It's Very Lazy Tail and False Equation, they're having their own little battle, coming into the Singapore Sling. And Konehouse might introduce himself to this battle as well. He's only 1.2 seconds behind. As False Equations tries to get a wider run, trying to get a better exit, you can hear the wheel spin though. Can't quite get the car to sit down and really drive away from the corner. As Lazy Tail gets a little bit of a slide there, just a little bit. It's cost him a little bit of time. Coming into what is a cascade of 92 corners. As, oh my... Oh... I've never seen that happen at Singapore. Seen it happen at Suzuka, but there you go. He must have spun the car around, drove it the wrong way, and the game decided to disqualify him. Oh, you have to try and use reverse a lot. That's pure gold. He is now launching a full-on attack on Todster. Really closed up. He wasn't quite far enough alongside to try and make any sort of move. Corrupted comes in for his stop after spinning on lap 1. As false equation, it seems that he's now got the move done on very lazy tail, and as I predicted, Conehouse, he's introduced himself to this. He's now within DRS range of these two. False equation, it definitely seems he has relatively good pace in comparison to these two. I think the only reason why Conehouse has gained so much is because these two have been battling. Hopefully he does have the actual car pace to keep up with these two. As very lazy tail looks up into turn 13. You can hear the wheels spin. Need to be gentle on the power. Lazy tail, a 3-second time penalty, multiple warning. Very blatant corner cut. But you have to do that around here. You have to use everything. So we got a nice little 3-way battle for 7th place. And then, ooh, what on earth? Oh, what on earth? What on earth? What on earth? What on earth? Alcatraz retiring from the session. I'm not sure if that had anything to do with Unigrino. I'm sure he'll inform us after the race. Let's have another quick look before the main drivers come into pit. We'll have a look at the positions change. Very lazy tail. Still in that 8th place. 6 positions made. Safety car, another good start from him too. He's up 5 places. Everyone else is... Everyone. Nearly everyone. Except for Schmidt and Hutamagic have gained places. Hutamagic at the moment is doing an absolutely superb drive. He's maintained that around 2-second gap. It increases a bit, it lowers a bit. And it seems that Pure Gold, he's now out of DRS range, only just. He needs to try and get back in it. Try and launch another attack on Todster. Quick look. Oh, his car now spins it! No, you have to get it in reverse, mate. Oh, I would imagine that's quite easy to do without traction control. In the Formula 2 series, we don't allow drivers to use traction control. You're allowed to use ABS, just no TC. Yes, he's spun coming out of turn 13. Damaged his front wing in doing so. I wouldn't be at all surprised if he has to come in and pit. We'll go back up to the leading quartet. Hutamagic still maintaining a margin. Pure Gold has lost time. He's lost about 0.3 of a second. And is falling back to Schmidt ever so slightly. False equation gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Surprisingly, Dougie Falcons hasn't made many inroads in catching the leading 4. He's still around about that 2.5 second margin back to Schmidt, as Conehouse gets a 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings. It seems now that everyone is in their own little world. perhaps one of the leading four might want to go for an undercut. As Corrupted sets the fastest lap of the race at 1:54.5, I believe that was. I'm sure they're tempted in doing that. Get a good lap. And Schmidt, he now brings himself into DRS range. It'd be quite sad if all of these guys were side of the pit at the same time. Maybe one might try an undercut, another might try an overcut, have fresh tyres at the end. As it appears Schmidt is indeed coming in. It is one of the hardest pit entries on the calendar, this pit entry at Singapore. Very easy to run wide, lose all your momentum. Thank goodness the game doesn't penalise you for that. Has no real reason to. But knowing Codemasters, they would do something stupid like that. So Schmidt decides to go for the undercut. Will he end up in clear traffic? Yes, he will. He's in a massive amount of clean air, so expect a mega lap from him. He is a good margin away from these guys. Very lazy Tal is the driver in front, 1.3 seconds, but he's still got clean air on fresh rubber. This is going to be an absolutely mega lap. And if he does, he might gain 2 positions, potentially. Depending on what these drivers do next. And Hooter Magic hasn't walked away with this either. He's only 2.2 seconds away from these two. To catch up very, very quickly, turn it into a 4-way battle. I think Schmidt made a very good call. He'll definitely gain a lot of track position out of it. So long as Tao doesn't put up much of a fight, doesn't really need to, they're on different strategies. And Tao will know that. So, what do these three decide to do? What does Hooter Magic decide to do? He's coming in. So does Toddster, and so does Pure Gold. So, where do these guys come out? Where do they come out? Dougie Falcons decides to stay out, an interesting call. Try the overcut, have better tyres at the end of the race. So, where's Schmidt? He's coming into turn 22 now. Where will he come out? Hooter Magic comes out, Toddster comes out, Pure Gold comes out, and Schmidt, he'll take them all, almost all. Definitely got Pure Gold. He might get Toddster here too. He's on cold rubber. They're not up to temperature. He'll get DRS too. And down the inside there's contact. He'll get DRS. He'll get the slipstream. Oh, weaving all over the place, trying to get temperature into the tyre. And Schmidt down the inside. He'll get the job done. Not quite. Toddster gets a switch back, and he holds on to the position. Very good racing between these two. Hard but fair, in my opinion. You see what Schmidt is trying to do. He's right on board with Schmidt. He's not close enough to make a move into turn 13. As Toddster locks up into the hairpin. Schmidt gets a good exit, but so does Toddster, so he can't quite do it into turn 14 either. So, provisionally, Hooter Magic is in the lead, but he has lost time. He's lost about 8 tenths to Toddster. Schmidt, a very good play from him, using the undercut. He's gained a position out of that, and he's within DRS range of Toddster. Definitely launching an attack, but he is on 1 lap older tyres, which towards the end of the race will make a difference. A small one, but a difference. So Dougie Falcons, he's now in. He's not on a new set of rubber. He'll come out well in front of Breno. Will most likely set out on an all-out attack to try and catch up with the leading 4. He's now 8.6 seconds behind. He's got a lot of work to do. But the battle to watch is the battle for second place. Second, third and fourth, all within DRS range of each other. And Hooter Magic, if he makes one mistake, will fall back into the clutches of these guys. He's done well so far, he's been incredibly consistent. But one mistake, that's all it takes, and he has the potential to lose 3 positions at once. Pure Gold, he's looking racy too. Might try and launch an attack on Schmidt. They need to be careful though. If these two start fighting, Todster is going to start pulling away. Turn from a battle to second to a battle to third. It seems like that anyway. It seems like Todster finally with the tyres up to temperature at ideal pressure. He's now starting to pull away ever so slightly. He's now out of DRS range. Pure Gold, he is now right up the gearbox of Schmidt in the yard, and they'll come through turns 22, 23 onto the pit straight. He'll have DRS and the slipstream. Schmidt won't. Schmidt goes a little bit defensive. Pure Gold sensibly pulls out of it. Turns 2, now turn 3. Both drivers looking relatively comfortable. A little bit of wheel spin from Pure Gold, but not enough to hamper any sort of speed. Oh, doesn't give me any damage. Slipstream, DRS. He goes to the left. He's going to have a look down the inside. Schmidt will probably try a switch back. No, he brakes late. Holds it around the outside, so he'll have the inside into turn 8, and he holds onto the position. Very good racecraft from Schmidt. But in doing so, the gap's opened up to almost 2 seconds. But what can Todster do? If he takes the win here, that will be a massive, massive boost to his championship chances. Just have a quick look further back in the field. So the battle for 7th is continuing between False Equation and the Very Lazy Tower. It seems that False Equation is now starting to get a good lap together. He's now pulling away from Very Lazy Tower. Everyone else seems to be by their lonesome at the moment, in their own little world, doing their own little thing. So we've only got one battle to look at, but it's the battle for 3rd, so it's not that bad. Coming through, excuse me, the final 2 corners. Again, DRS, he has the slipstream. What can he do? Nothing, he's not quite close enough. I'd say he needs to be around that maybe 2.5 tenths. Maybe even 2/10 of a second range to get the job done on the pit straight. On this straight, however, it's a bit longer. Blue flag waving, that doesn't matter, the car's ghost, so we don't have to worry about that traffic. Coming into turn 7. Pure Gold, he's hanging around at 2/10 mark. We've got 3 laps to go, so he's got a couple of chances up his sleeve. He just needs to put the car in the right position at the right time to get the position from Schmidt. It's Papa G. He's retired from the session. I'm not sure if that's through incident or through voluntarily retiring. In P13 he will not score any points. So Todster, he hasn't made any major inroads on Hooter Magic at the moment. It's a bit like Spain. Hooter Magic was leading in Spain with Todster in P2, and they maintained this sort of gap. They were about 1, maybe 2 seconds away from each other all the way through the race, through every second of the race. It was very good driving for those two. Pure Gold, still within range. Schmidt looked a bit uncomfortable through turn 18. Just a little bit sideways. He missed a little bit of time. A safety car. Oh! That's Pure Gold! Can't save it. What a save! What a save from Pure Gold! Oh! I bet he was shitting bricks. Oh my goodness me. That was a brilliant save from Pure Gold. He hasn't lost too much time either. He's still within DRS range. Very glad I saw that. Very good car control to recover that. In this game, when you start sliding like that, you're pretty much a goner. But he recovered it. Very, very good driving. He's now got 2 laps to try and overtake Schmidt. As Todster, he's now starting to gain a little bit. 1.1 seconds. Now back to 1.5. I'd say rough and earth. Well, 4/10 of a second like that. Oof. Coming through the Singapore Sling. This beautiful aerial shot of Singapore. Over the Anderson Bridge. This circuit crosses over that river 3 times. 3 times. Absolutely mental. Also, what I didn't realise about this circuit, it's a Tilka drone. Yeah, this circuit was actually designed by Tilka. Would explain the whole, like the massive amount of 90-degree corners on the circuit. As Pure Gold, he's made up all of that time after making a mistake here on the previous lap. So, don't know what happened to Schmidt. I don't know if he lost it or that was just lag that caused that. So Pure Gold, he's got 1 lap and probably only 2 chances to get the position. And it's definitely going to come at turn 7. He hasn't got it in turn 1. He'll get DRS. He'll get the slipstream. As we drop, it's just green flags, that's alright. So here we go. DRS, slipstream. As Schmidt goes full on defensive. Oh! Moving on the braking? Question mark? He has to go around the outside, can't get it done. He'll get the switch back on him, but he still has the outside. Cannot get the position done. Schmidt, questionably hard driving. Is it fair? Don't know. Oh, and Schmidt runs wide. He runs right through the Singapore Sling, and he lets Pure Gold through. Unbelievable. All it took was 1 mistake. Schmidt fights back though. He's on the outside. Oh, still contact. But Schmidt, he'll get the better exit. On the racing line. On the wider line as well. Schmidt goes defensive. Really, really defensive into turn 14. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Pure Gold gets a switchback. Can he get the move done? He's on the outside, but if he stays there, he's on the inside into turn 16. Oh, brilliant stuff from these two. They're still side by side. Oh my goodness me. Into the bus stop. They're still side by side. Underneath the grandstand, Pure Gold, he's in P4. What can he do? He's got 2 corners. Can he get the run? He does get a bit of a run. Schmidt goes defensive. He gets the switch back. Oh my goodness me. Pure Gold gets it. No. Oh, the penalty's kicked in. Oh, the penalty's kicked in. He's dropped down to 5th. Oh. Bugger. What a superb drive from these two. Oh, absolutely brilliant. Completely ignored Huta Magic. Completely ignored the checkered flag. That was a great battle between those two. Absolutely fantastic battle between those two. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So, Huta Magic claims the win here at the feature race at Singapore. Toddster in P2, Schmidt P3. Only because of the penalties. Dougie Falcons jumps up to P4. That will be a major boost to his championship chances. Pure gold. After that simply magnificent display of driving, P5. That's very disappointing, but you always have to stay on the circuit, follow the rules of the game, and clearly the drivers in front did. So, this is your top 3 for the feature race at Singapore. Oh, wow. What a way to end the race. Side by side for almost, I don't know, 2/3 of the lap. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Huta Magic P1, Toddster P2, Schmidt P3, Dougie Falcons P4, Pure Gold P5, Breno P6, False Equation P7, Very Lazy Tail P8. He will start on pole for the sprint race. Corrupted P9, Safety Car P10, Conehouse P11, Unigrino P12, Papa G P13, Alcatraz P14, Aussie Resurrect P15, and Semi-Pro P16 with Alcatraz, Resurrect, and Semi-Pro. Oh, and Papa G. All of them not finishing this race. And of course, Semi-Pro DSQing himself after driving the wrong way on the circuit, which is very easy to do. You always tend to forget reverse gear because you never use it. Oh, wow. It was only one battle that we were looking at, but by God, was it a good one to watch. That was amazing to watch. Oh, if we ever make an intro video for this league, that has to be somewhere in it. That has to be somewhere in it. It was only one battle. It was for the podium, but that was insane. I completely agree with you, Alcatraz, writing in the comments. It was insane. That was brilliant between those two. Absolutely brilliant. Wow. So, we move on to the sprint race at Singapore. There's no need to pit unless absolutely necessary, like a broken front wing or a puncture. This is all about the racing on the circuit. If you want to win this race, you can't do it through strategy. It's just through driver, skill, and of course car setup alone. So, as I said before, Very Lazy Tail will start on pole position. We'll just have the position change. No need to look at the tyres. And we'll have the telemetry up. So, Lazy Tail on pole. False Equation in P2. Breno P3. Pure Gold P4. Dougie Falcons P5. And critically is starting in front of his main rival. P6 is Schmidt. The main rival in question, Toddster, is starting P7. Got plenty of work to do from there. Huta Magic starting P8. He was the race winner in the feature race. However, if we go off Spain, it seems he doesn't do quite as well in traffic. He wasn't making his way through the field in Spain, so I don't think we might see him climb up the leaderboards. Corrupted, his teammate, starts P9, Safety Car P10, Conehouse P11, Unigrino P12, Papa G P13, Alcatraz P14, Rizzy Rick. Oh, that was such an unfortunate race for him. He starts P15, and Semi-Pro, after being DSQ'd, will start from dead last, P16. Oh boy, oh hang on. A couple of drivers are opting to start in the super soft. Can that make it to the end of the race? I suppose we'll find out. I don't think it will. As Very Lazy Tail proceeds to go very sideways there. It's one way to warm the tyres up. So the drivers will come around now. I think Pure Gold is definitely a car to watch at the start of the race. The racecraft he showed in that in the feature race was absolutely superb with Schmidt. Questionable actions from both drivers, but it was in the spirit of racing, I think. You expect drivers to play hard for their positions, throw it all on the line. It was very good racing between those two. So, as the last car semi-pro, he will line up into his grid slot. Here we go. One light, two lights, three lights, four lights, five lights. And away we go for the sprint race here at Singapore. And it seems that, everyone's had a relatively half-decent start. We've had contact in turn one. I believe that was Schmidt coming into contact, which I think was Breno, perhaps? False equation. A massive loser out of the start. 7 places. As someone has spun, I'm not sure who. Must have been Unit Grino. So, Very Lazy Tail leads. As I predicted, Pure Gold, 2 places from the start, is already attacking the leader. He's in P2. Breno, overtaken by Dougie Falcons. Dougie now in P3. Breno P4. There's contact! Oh my goodness me. Breno, you're all over the place, mate. You're lagging like crazy. Schmidt P5. Tops to P6. Conservation P7. Now being under attack from Corrupted. Oh, side-by-side in Singapore Sling. You don't want to do that, fellas. You'll lose a lot of time. Oh my goodness me. Who's the magic? P9. Safety car P10. Semi-pro P11. Up 5 places. A superb start from him. Kainas P12. Rizzy Rick up 2 places. He's now into P13. Alcatraz P14. We do have yellows. Oh my goodness me, what was that? Oh, we have a driver in the wall! Who is that? That's Semi-Pro! No! Such a superb start! Oh. Tired from the session. Colster! Oh my goodness me, what on earth happened to you, mate? Why are you in 15th? 8 places lost. Was he the driver that spun in the background? I noticed someone did. It must have been him. There's no damage. Doesn't appear to be anyway. Very Lazy Tail leads the way. Oh, Todster desperately didn't need that. Dougie Falcons currently in P3. And at the moment, Todster will score no points from the from the sprint race rather, at Singapore currently. He needs to get up into 8th, which is currently occupied by safety car. And he's currently surrounded by 4 other drivers at the moment. We'll go back up to the leaders at the front. As Dougie, he sends it up the inside. Can't get it quite done. He has a look around the outside, tries to get a switch back, but can't get the run. He can't really make a move anywhere on the circuit into turn 9. It's a bit too quick of a corner to get any sort of move done. A Very Lazy Tail, very sternly, still in the lead, holding on to his position. I assume that will change though when DRS is activated. Pure Gold literally right up his gearbox. Very Lazy Tail goes defensive into turn 13 as he should, but he runs wide! Is that damage? I didn't see anything. Oh, he's got end plate. Yep, end plate gone. Oh, that is such a shame. Oh, we've got yellows in sector 2. There must be a driver further back. So Pure Gold now leads with Dougie Falcons in tow. Breno in P3, Very Lazy Tail with the front end plate damage. You can see that there on the front right hand corner. Oh, as it goes very sideways. Out of turn 19. Schmidt, currently in P5. This is the leading 5 cars. As Pure proceeds to set the fastest lap of the race. Oh my goodness me. Papa G leaving the session there. Unfortunate for him. And Virtual! Hello! Where did you come from? This is given everyone sort of a reprieve. Anyone gambling to box, I wonder? No, they've all passed the pit lane, so there you go. No. I might gamble as the driver further back. You never know what happens in these races. And a safety car drive through speeding under virtual safety car. I just mentioned about going in the pit lane for a fresh set of tyres, and that happens to a safety car. Oh, he hates me. I go and view safety car during qualifying. He goes ahead and spins the damn thing. Now he speeds on. Oh, for goodness sake, he's gonna blame me for all of that. Oh no. We have yellows in sector 2. I need to start paying attention to the race. Oh, safety car's the time. That explains it. Oh, I'm so getting the blame for that. I'm so getting the blame for that. So, ooh, hang on. Seems to be another incident in sector 2. It's Alcatraz. Completely destroyed front wing. Or at least the right hand side of it. His teammate right in behind in 13th. Oh dear. So we have a battle for the lead. Pure Gold and Dougie Falcons. Dougie will be absolutely loving this. Todster has found his way into the points though. He's now in 8th place from 12th. A very whoa. Oh, that was wow, that was very wide from very lazy car. Desperately trying to hang on to P4 with Schmidt all over the back of it as Schmidt and Lazy Tail both lose it coming out of turn 3. Oh, what a chaotic race this is. So Dougie Falcons, he has DRS, he has the slipstream, not quite close enough. You'll just have to sit in behind him for a couple of laps. Oh, never mind, Pure Gold makes a mistake coming out of turn 7 into turn 8. Can't really do anything though. You really need to be on the inside for turn 9. But he gets a switch back. Will he look into the Singapore sling? He has overlap. Oh, good racing from these two. Good awareness. Pure Gold just checking up a little bit. Just calming himself down. Into turn 13. Nice and easy on the throttle. As Pure Gold likes it up, he leaves himself vulnerable into turn 14. He'll look around the outside. Might break a bit later. He keeps it alongside, but he can't get it done. Pure Gold shuts the door on exit. We've got yellow flags in sector 1. And they're gone. Oh. So, we'll have a quick look back in the field. I'm surprised how well Very Lazy Tail is hanging on here. He's hanging on to that 4th place very valiantly. It is a difficult place to overtake at Singapore. Excuse me. I'm really quite surprised how well he's hanging on. But you can see there. He's having to use all of the track to try and keep up the momentum. As Unit Greno's retired from the race. So 4 retirements. 5 retirements! Where's he, Rick? Where are you, mate? Where are you? Please tell me you saw that. Oh my goodness me, that is... that is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Aussie Rizzy Rip just full on planted the car into the wall at the pit entry. Oh, oh no. So we got 5 retirements from this race already. And Dougie Falcons, he can't quite get it done. 5 retirements, 5 laps. Oh boy. Oh! There's contact. Just a little bit between these two. They are fighting hard. Very Lazy Tail still hanging on to that position. It just shows you how much more these cars rely on the mechanical grip. From the tyre, from the chassis, from the suspension, more than it relies on the aerodynamic grip. But then again, oh, Schmidt gets the job done. Oh, into the wall! Game, set, match for the Very Lazy Tail. Rip front wing, completely gone. I'd imagine he'll be retiring soon. I don't think he'll keep on racing, there's no point. Has he binned it yet? Not yet. He has no real reason to keep going. He does have a massive gap back to false equation. So there's a potential to score 1 point after the penalties, of course. But no, he's coming in. But yeah, on that wall there, Aussie Wizzy Rick absolutely planted the thing into the wall. He comes into the pits, he'll put on it a new set of softs. He'll go to the end of the race. We'll go back to the leading duo, Pure Gold and Dougie Falcons. Dougie Falcons still in behind. Just planning out his next move. Pure Gold, however, is a very good defensive driver. He demonstrated this in the Green League when he had that epic battle with Wizzy Rick for the lead of the race as well. He's got very good racecraft and he will defend his position valiantly. But out of all the drivers you want behind you, you don't want one that's fighting for the Drivers' Championship. And Dougie is desperately trying to find a way to get past. Toddster is now up into P6, so he is going to score a couple of points here. So he's not going to lose out too massively. After mysteriously dropping from the top 5 all the way down to something like P14 or something like that. Then he jumped up to P12 because of the retirements. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see the incident that Toddster had. But... oh, there we go. He's had enough. Poor late. That guy cannot take a break. Very lazy. I thought I was unlucky. Sometimes I make stupid mistakes or something like that, or somebody punts me off. But it seems that it always happens to Lazy Tail. Poor bugger. Anyway, we should return back to the race. So we only have, we're going to have 10 finishes. Maximum at the moment. Depends if anyone... Now that's interesting. You can see that. He doesn't bother using DRS. Now, could that just be forgetfulness? Or hang on. Seems that Konehouse has had a spin. And he's lost the front wing in the process. False equation, he's in. But he's speeding in the pit lane. He might retire the car. I think he will. And they're not ready for him. That's different. Very different. The Konehouse completely destroyed front wing. Seems there isn't really any other battle, but Schmidt is catching Breno. I'll make sure to keep an eye on that. But Sector 2 yellows, it is... oh, it's Konehouse again. Yeah, I'm thinking he's going to retire. Yeah. There you go. Hey look, he's parked it well. He's not on the racing line. He's not going to crash into him. Nobody's going to crash into him. Schmidt, a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So we're going to have 9 finishes in this race. Well, how that lap? The feature race had some very good racing between Pure Gold and excuse me, Schmidt. And here it's just absolute chaos. 9 finishes with 5 laps to go. Dougie using DRS. He must have just forgotten that he had DRS or something. Or perhaps he was just planning, just hanging back, putting himself into the ideal place on the racetrack to make a successful overtake. As it seems that Schmidt, he's now closed up to the back of Breno. He's now within DRS range. So we've got a battle for third and a battle for first. And it seems potentially a battle for sixth between Todstar and Hooter Magic, potentially. These guys finished 1 and 2 in the feature race. And as I predicted, Hooter Magic, he hasn't progressed very far up the field. Even though he won the race, the feature race, he's still stuck in the midfield, which is now sort of the tail end of the field because there's only 9 cars left. What's on? That's incredible. If we have one more... Oh, what's that Dougie? No, he doesn't have any front wing damage. It just looked like he put it into the wall there a little bit. If we have one more retirement, that is literally half the field. Incredible. So Dougie, the laps are counting down. He's got 4 laps to try and get the move done. It's just that Pure Gold seems to have the measure of him at the moment, even though Dougie's got DRS in the slipstream. Pure Gold seems to have good corner speed. The car seems very relaxed. We're right on board with him. I don't think Dougie's quite close enough to get a move done. He isn't. He's right on board just to see what he does. See that, very gentle on the throttle. Nice and gentle on the steering. So nice and gentle. Unlucky, dude. Very unlucky. Oh! Here we go! Oh, and he still hangs on to the position, but he leaves himself vulnerable. Oh, the Pure Gold. He just puts the car into the right place. That is 2 very good saves from him. Very good save. This guy must be shitting bricks at the moment. He must be sweating like an absolute pig. He's in full-on Ayrton Senna mode, just concentrating so hard at the moment to try and keep Dougie Dawkins at bay. And he just made that one little slip up, and it almost brought Dougie through. We'll go back to the battle for 4th place, Breno and Schmidt. It seems that Hooter Magic, he's also within DRS range, so we do have a battle for 6th. And it's, Schmidt losing it. Turn 21. See how much time he's lost. And that's fallen back. He's now fallen back into the clutches of Corrupted. He's almost within DRS range. We'll go back to the leading duo. 3 laps to go. I think Dougie, he might be planning a last lap attack on Pure Gold. Try and make a successful overtake and give Pure Gold as little opportunity in terms of time to get the spot back. How about that, Pure Gold saving it twice in both races and still hangs on to the position. That's incredible. Into turn 13. Nice and easy on the throttle. Magic a 3-second time penalty. Oh my goodness me. Pure is putting it all on the line. He's sideways everywhere, but somehow, someway, he's hanging on. Dougie's just watching on. He's thinking, this guy's making mistakes left, right and centre, but he's still hanging on to the position. Oh, and he gets an absolutely horrendous run. Out of 10-21. He's out of DRS now, range. He's got DRS, but into the next detection zone, will he be close enough? Dougie just lighting up a little bit, coming out of 10-21. We'll have a look, see, have a look on the bar in the bottom right. He's in DRS range, he's a very lucky bastard. Oh! Hit the wall. Can we see any damage? Doesn't really appear to be. He might have a lime green window, which will dampen his efforts to try and get the lead. False equation, a 3-second time penalty. So, I'll come back to the leading duo on the last lap. If Dougie Falcons makes back the time that he lost, it seems that Schmidt is now under attack from Corrupted. Corrupted now within DRS range. Now Magic within DRS range of Toddster. Toddster really doesn't need to lose any positions here. He needs to get every point that he can to try and build a bigger lead coming into the final race at Brazil. Lovely aero shot here. Oh! My goodness me! Car just snapped to the right and into the wall. Wow! Never have I seen that before. After coming so far down the straightaway as well. Typically the car is quite settled. But here we go. The last lap of the race and Dougie's out of DRS range. He won't be able to get back the position that he lost. All the position, all the track, all the time that he lost in that one simple corner. And to think, Pure Gold, it seems, has had bigger moments than Dougie. Dougie's was a small one. But Pure Gold, he's been absolutely on it this race. We'll have a look back to the battle for P3. This is for the final podium spot. Does this sound familiar? Schmidt, this time, he's on the attack. Renault goes extreme defensive, exactly what Schmidt did in the feature race. Schmidt goes around the outside. He tries to get the inside into turn 8. He can't get it done. Renault getting better drive out of the corner. Now he needs to just sit in behind and stay as close to him as possible. A little bit of wheel spin for Schmidt. He doesn't need that right now. As Dougie Falcon, he's given up. I think the gap is now 2.5 seconds between Pure Gold and Dougie. I think he's had enough. He's pretty happy with second place. Just wants to get the car home to the finish. Oh, but massive wheel spin for Schmidt. Is that his attack over? That time that he lost on the straight? Renault, he's got quite a number of car lengths. Gap back to Schmidt. We'll go back up to Pure Gold. We'll actually see the checkered flag this time of what has been an absolutely superb drive from Pure Gold in both races. But this time he wins the sprint race at Singapore. Dougie Falcons gets a very good P2. Renault, will he do it? Or will the penalties come into play? P3, he stays P3. Corrupted jumps up to P4. Schmidt with penalties over his head. He will drop down to P5. Colts to P6, Magic P7. And Alcatraz, who is 1 minute, 5 seconds behind Hoots and Magic. How on earth can you be 1 minute, 5 seconds behind another driver in a 12-lap race? I suppose the completely screwed over front wing helps with that, but his efforts will score him one singular point, and a very good drive actually, up 6 places. But that might be because from P10 all the way down to P16, 7 cars retired this race. Absolute chaos. Where is he? He's coming into turn 21, into the final 2 corners. Come on, Alcatraz. And you can see the massive amount of understeer. Oh, you son of a bitch. Just cross the finish line, you prick. Oh, yeah. Nice burnout. Hang on. Great burnout, bro. Absolutely fantastic. For that 1 point. The 1 point you get for surviving. So, here are your top 3 for the sprint race at Singapore. Wow. Those were 2 very, very good races. We had this epic, titanic battle between Pure Gold and Schmidt for the feature race, and it was epic. They were side by side everywhere on the last lap. And here it was chaos, absolute chaos, and Pure Gold deservingly comes out on top. He also sets the fastest lap of the race and will get 2 extra points for that. Dougie Falcons in P2, which is very, very good for his championship chances. Breno P3, actually, just a quick look. So total scores 20, Dougie Falcons 20, 12, and 12 again. And ladies Tulsa get 4. Okay, so they equal each other out. Both drivers scored 24 points this race. So this is 100% going down to the final round at Interlagos. Oh, this is going to be absolutely brilliant. A title fight on one of the best circuits in Formula One. Oh, I can't wait. What a race. What a week it's been in DRS. 2 very good races in a row. But that will end this week of DRS. Tune in next week on Sunday, 8:30 PM Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time, for the final race of the Green League Championship, where we go to the worst designed circuit in Formula One history, Abu Dhabi's Yas Marina. Oh, what a race. What a race. I'll read some of the comments in the comments section. I haven't done enough of that as of late. I really need to do more of it. I really do. I'll have a look. 1 point. Congratulations, Alcatraz. 1 point. Well done. 1 point. So, yes, next week, Abu Dhabi, Yas Marina, boring track. But hopefully it'll be a good race. It always seems to be a very boring circuit, except for Bahrain, that's always boring, regardless if it's real life or virtual. But anyway, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you so much. And for this week, it's good night from me.